Hello everybody and welcome to Overcoming the Fear of Creating Videos. I'm Chris Tracy from CT Video Marketing, and this presentation is going to show you how to get your message out there on social media with nothing but confidence. Here we go. Quick and dirty intro. I specialize in affordable short form video coaching for small business owners servicing the Central Connecticut area. I got started officially prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. I used to go down to my friend's restaurant, bar and grill, Trenton Tavern at the time was the name of it. I would go down to his business. This is Tom on the right. That's me on the left, and while that's funny, I'm wearing the same shirt as I am now in this presentation. That's hilarious. I don't have a large wardrobe, I'm sorry. But we used to do podcast style videos, basically a little show, and he would discuss different beers that he had on tap on a regular basis. It was awesome. I used to go down there and just with my camera and a tripod, and I would help him with what to say, and then I would take the footage back, I would edit it, and I would put the post on the company's Facebook page. He loved it, his partners loved it. It got a little bit of traction, more exposure for the bar. And then, unfortunately, the pandemic came along, and a lot of small business owners couldn't weather that storm. I found that very heartbreaking. So that really compelled me to kind of keep carrying the torch and go on with this marketing service that I do for people, try to help them navigate even nowadays with tough financial circumstances that business owners might be in. Just some quick kind words about me. If you want to go back and check this, I don't want to belabor this presentation too much because this presentation is not about me, it's for you. So let's just dive in. And here's my goal for you here and now with this presentation. I want to give you clarity when you're making videos with a simple framework that I learned from a business coach that I have. I've got some scripts and ideas for you with exactly what to say when you're creating these short form videos. A lot of people that I talk to struggle with this, and they're trying to market themselves, they're trying to put their product or service out there, and many times just because they just were never taught or they just don't know any better, that they really kind of just, oftentimes I hear people say that they're kind of, they're all over the map, or they don't really have any structure to their delivery of making these videos for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. They're fearful of being on camera. They don't know what to say. They don't have confidence in themselves when they're doing presentations. They're trying to promote their product or service, and I want to help with this. And after you watch this presentation, it's my hope that you'll have confidence. I think that you'll be more confident if you implement what I'm going to teach you here in this presentation, and knowing that really what we're talking about is you're going to increase the probability of a potential customer or client actually watching your video that you make, because that's really what you're up against and you don't even realize it. Is you make videos, you put them out there, and if you're not catching them and using the tactics and the techniques that I'm going to show you here, that you're really running a bunch of risks of them just kind of really scrolling past what you're making, and you're really not even realizing what you're doing. Because we love to hear ourselves talk, like me doing this presentation right now. I'm getting hyped up and I'm passionate about this, but I want to show you good ways to do it, that there is a strategy behind it, and that there is a framework. And I'm going to help you avoid that number one mistake that most people make when they're doing presentations for video marketing purposes. And here's some quick statistics, why you should use video. I'm not going to bore you with all this. You can go back and research it and read about it at your leisure if you want to. I think it's pretty well established right now. You don't have to be an expert in social media statistics to kind of just understand and know and realize that that's where we are in this day and age, that everything is about video, short form video. It's there, it's not going anywhere, and if anything, it's going to grow and be more and more dominant as the years go by. So feel free to check all this stuff. This supports why you should be using video for your business. And tell me if this sounds familiar. So you want to create videos, you want to promote yourself, you want to promote your business, but you don't know what to say. And like I alluded to, you probably don't even realize that what you are saying, you're kind of, for lack of a better expression, you're shooting yourself in the foot with saying things, and maybe you feel like you're all over the place, or you're trying to make a video, and a lot of people they're rambling because they get in their own head, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you're concerned about people hating on you when you make videos, and I mean the list goes on and on, right? So what is the actual trick to delivering powerful videos that people actually want to watch and will potentially drive sales for you? It's a mindset shift. So consider this. I recently picked up this book. I said, okay, I'm going to do a presentation. It's going to help people on basically what we're talking about is public speaking, right? So I'm like, okay, well, what's the best book out there that will address these different topics and concerns and fears and all the different nuances of the do's and don'ts and how to be an effective public speaker? So the fundamental trick for delivering an effective and powerful video that drives sales is your mindset. And it's really not about you. That's a huge, huge takeaway. I know that sounds overly simplistic, but if you can just grasp that concept, that all of the different trials and tribulations that people that I talk to, clients that I work with, friends, family, whoever, I see it again and again, where the majority of these different areas and nuances where people stumble is because they're really I-centric. They're just focused on people. They're in their own heads. So they're like, I don't know what to say. I look fat. People are going to hate on me. You know, I'm not going to remember what to, you know, it just, everything is just people are like, oh, well, I'm worried about me. If you did this one thing, this is a game changer just all by itself, where if you start to reposition your mission, if you will, and if you can just read that section that I have underlined in red where it's not about you. So I took this from this book, TED Talks. The single biggest piece of advice I can give you is it's not about you. It's about the idea that you are passionate about. I'm very passionate about this presentation that I am sharing with you watching this right now. Your job and my job in this presentation for you watching this is to be of service to you. Your job is to be of service to your audience with the idea that you're passionate about, and you are offering that piece of content, that TikTok video, that YouTube video, that Facebook video, that Instagram video, that video on LinkedIn, whatever the case may be. That is a gift. That's a gift that you are giving to your customer or client that has not met you yet. They are a soon-to-be customer or client. You're giving them a gift. They don't know you. They're a cold audience on social media. In this case, it's a webinar. Whatever the case may be, you are offering it up, and it's not about, oh God, I hope they like the shirt that I'm wearing, even though it's the same one that I'm actually wearing in the presentation. I don't have a whole closet full of shirts. Oh God, people are going to laugh at me. People don't care about that. They only care about their own problems. They only care, they need solutions. They need you as a service provider to help them with content, valuable content. People need questions answered. And you show up and you come from contribution, and you are a servant, and you are giving your insights, your knowledge, your experience, your gifts, everything that your craft, whatever that may be. If you're a personal trainer, an attorney, a chiropractor, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like whatever your wheelhouse is, you have a road that you have traveled, and you have experience, and you have things that you can share with people, and it's your job to give it to people. So when you think that as you are coming from a servant's heart, that's a whole nother ballgame. That's just a 180-degree mind shift. So if you have anxieties and you're afraid of being on camera, you find that there is this ghost that is haunting you and you can't get from underneath it. You want to do videos, but you can't for one reason or another. The vast majority, in my opinion, of these obstacles they can be eliminated when you just start to think of it in a different way, and you think that, okay, well, my clients, my customers, they have problems, they have challenges, and I want to help them with that. You're doing it via the information and the content that you're delivering on video through camera. And it's as easy as that. And you see this energy that I'm trying to deliver to you now. It's the same concept. I walk the walk, I talk the talk. I want you to do the same thing here. You gotta, if you're passionate about it, you gotta share it and you gotta give it to people. And that's it. So this is the best reference that I could find that kind of encapsulates everything that I'm trying to tell you here and now, is that if you keep that in your mind, and it says if you, in this situation, it's talking about like, giving TED Talks. I'm not saying you have to go out and give a TED Talk, but it could be a YouTube video, it could be anything that they actually say that you'll find it's quite liberating to do all of this. So look at it through that lens. So then the question becomes, what ideas can you offer to your audience as gifts? What valuable content can you create that focuses on serving your audience? One of the most important things is your message. It's not your logo. It's not a picture of yourself looking awesome. I see this all the time. And again, it's not your fault, because we've just been kind of trained, or for lack of a better expression, brainwashed or what have you, to say, okay, we always have to introduce ourselves when we're on camera, and we have to say, here's my business card, here's my logo, here it is. That's the very first thing. We put it, center stage in the spotlight. But the message, really what we're talking about, is you have to think of messages that will address and serve and help your audience with their pain points. And again, it's you are serving, so you have to address the concerns of the audience, and it's not a me-centered angle that you're taking. It should be designed where it's messaging that serves your audience. So let's dive more into what that all means specifically, and this will become more clear as I show you this framework. Again, we're talking about delivering a message, and this framework is beautiful because it will give you structure so that you're not rambling, so you don't feel like you're all over the place. And one of the biggest things is really just reducing the risk of your audience ignoring you and just scrolling past. It's really that critical. A lot of people talk about it, but I feel that this framework here that I learned this in a business mastermind that I reference at the end of this presentation. I highly recommend that you check it out and participate in it. If you want more information about it, if you would like to know, shoot me a DM or text me, call me, whatever. And if you're looking for a business mastermind to participate in, I'm doing one right now currently that I highly recommend, and I'd love to tell you about it and actually just give you a testimonial on the gentleman who runs it. His name's Tom Smith. Great guy, learned a lot from him, and I got this framework from him. I don't think he invented it, because I've seen other people kind of talk about this in various ways. I don't think this is proprietary information, but I've seen different variations of this. This is really not anything revolutionary. We've heard of hooks before. A lot of people talk about this, but I love this framework. This is my favorite framework right now. So when you're trying to deliver, let's just say a 60-second video, this is probably this biggest component right here in this framework. This is the IEEO framework. So, and the first I stands for interrupt, according to this framework, where it's also known as the hook or headline. And many people totally are just not aware of, or even know how to construct an effective hook, because this is really I don't know what you want to call it, the probably the pivotal point where at the beginning of a video, if you don't have an effective hook, when your video, let's just say TikTok for example, you're on TikTok, you're scrolling, and you've got a For You page, you've got all these random videos coming up. So I see so many people at the beginning of it, they're like, I don't know who needs to hear this, or they just start out just talking about random stuff, or they introduce themselves, that you're just asking for a scroll. So if you're not addressing some type of psychological conversation, and we're going to talk about this in this presentation soon, is the inner dialogue, the conversation that's going on in your potential customer or client's mind, you're just kind of wasting your time for the most part. So You have to interrupt them with what they're doing. You have to get their attention. You have to hook them, and you got to catch them. You really got probably 2 or 3 seconds. And if there's not something where, if the person can't conclude in their mind as they're watching your video, if they get bored, if they're just like, oh, this is not relevant to me, then it's just like, okay, on to the next thing, because that's just where we're at. You know, if you're standing in the grocery store, for example, good examples of this, where like you're standing in the checkout line, you know, you see all these major magazines, you know, whatever, Sports Illustrated or Cosmopolitan or anything. If you look at all these publications that have been around for many years, they spend a lot of money, and I would imagine that they have very high-priced and well-paid copywriters in-house. That's probably their whole job, is just kind of like, you know, coming up with catchy headlines. And if you next time you're in the checkout line looking, if you're in Stop and Shop or whatever, and you see the magazines and the rack there, or even if you go to a bookstore or whatever, you know, that's really, yes, there's often, you know, Beyonce on the cover or whatever, but you'll see kind of like it's headlines, it's catchy, you know, glitzy, sexy, really interesting, sometimes controversial, negative, or things that will get your words that get your attention, I think is really what we're talking about here. And that is, yeah, I can't think of a better way to say it, but I mean, it really deserves that much attention, where we're talking about entering into the conversation of the person you're trying to attract. We're talking about entering into the conversation of their mind. So if you wanted to jot this down and take a picture of it with your phone or screenshot it or whatever, but really just to get the juices flowing here for you, just to kind of get your mind wrapped around what we're talking about here, is really you're on a mission to enter into the conversation of your prospect's mind. You don't want to start your own conversation. You want to jump into the conversation that's going on with all these different calculations, and see how that you can participate in the conversation of the customer client that you have not met yet, their mind. So it's kind of like, what do they have or what they don't have? This is another framework that I learned from a guy named Ryan Deiss, one of the top marketers in my opinion, if not the best. So really what you have when you have a person on the left, now this is called the before and after framework, if you will, where you have someone, you have on the left where they have, usually they have a problem, like they have something, or they're lacking, or they're feeling some type of way, or they have an average day that they go through, they have a scenario. You can work this from different angles. They have a certain type of status that they're in, and they would like to ultimately go from all these different things, and they would like to undergo a transformation and go from left to right following the green arrow. And then the number 5 there, the good versus evil, that's another play where you can position yourself, and I'll elaborate on that in a second. But the typical ones are the ones at the top there, where you have, let's just say it could be kind of, you know, you wake up in the morning and you feel lousy because you have back pain, and so there's different little nuances that a person experiences, and they would like to go to the right and not have back pain anymore. They would like to feel better. They would like to have more joy and happiness in their day and not be stressed out. They would like an increase in their socioeconomic status. So there's different possibilities that a person could participate in. That's why, you know, people buy, you know, like Rolex watches, or they'll go out and get like a BMW. You know, they'll move to a more upper class neighborhood, or go, you know, joining the fancy, you know, golfing membership club. You know, they like to participate in these and have shiny, expensive jewelry and clothes and different things because they want to be perceived as being in a different status, like a different class. That's, as I understand it, that's really why people buy. Really, I mean, do you need a Rolls Royce? No. A Toyota will get you from point A. Like, they're both cars. They will both transport you. But if you're driving around in a Rolls Royce as opposed to a Toyota, you're perceived as in a higher class status. And good versus evil, that would be, it's almost like as you are attacking an enemy of your customer or client. So for example, it would be like if you were a personal trainer and if you wanted to play the good versus evil angle, you would be, as the personal trainer, you're the good guy, and the evil villains is like McDonald's and the fact that they have a drive-through and they have this technology that's making people lazy, and they serve people food that's high in sodium, and it's like a lot of different like trans fats and high calorie cholesterol type stuff, and it's like, well, it's not your fault that you're unmotivated and you're lazy and you're heavy set and you're out of shape and you're weak or whatever. It's McDonald's fault because they have this technology that made it easier for people. So now they don't have to get out of their car and walk and do any type of exercise or what have you, or anything along those lines. So what you're doing is you're positioning yourself against some other evil that could be perceived in some way, either by you or by your client, and you are throwing stones at the enemy on behalf of, and you're defending your customer or client. I don't know. I hope that you get that. That kind of makes sense. But you could do it where it's kind of like, oh, well, let's just say if you have, if you're a personal trainer and you have a client and you are defending on behalf of your client, and you're saying, well, it's not your fault because of X, Y, and Z. It's the pharmaceutical companies. They're the ones that are making everyone sick. So if there is something that's plaguing your customer or client, then it's kind of like you being a personal trainer. You're the defender and the superhero of wellness and health and nutrition and physical fitness and making good lifestyle choices and exercise, and these other things that are plaguing your customer or client, in your professional opinion, anything that is attacking, you are defending on behalf and protecting and serving your customer or client. I hope that makes sense for you. And again, entering into the conversation that your potential customer or client, even the people you serve now, what is their inner dialogue? What is the conversation that's going on in their mind today? As we discussed earlier, so the number one mistake I see people making is they make a video, they start off, they introduce themselves first, and they're not leveraging an effective hook that serves the audience. And Michael Scott says no. The hook is the key. People are generally on two missions. They want to escape pain and they want to seek pleasure. That's just a human being. So, something a little more simplified for you that can start to help you is another really easy to use formula. If you find yourself still slightly a little overwhelmed by the before and after framework that I just gave you, you can probably just run with this for a while, and this could be quite valuable for you. I call it the have your cake and eat it too headline formula. So it looks something like this. Hang on a second, I just got to take a sip here. So the have your cake and eat it too headline formula, or the hook formula, there's two variations. So it's, and this addresses probably, I would say, number one of the before and after. So if we go back to this, if you look at number one, where it's what does the person have or not? Like, do they have something that they're trying to get rid of? are they lacking something and they want to gain something? So this here, how to get X and still have Y. How to get X without having to do Y. So in both of these situations, it's kind of like the person is having their cake and they can eat it too. The first is referred to as the inclusive variation, and the second is the exclusive variation. So an example would be this. You're a personal trainer. How to lose weight and you can still eat bacon. So it's like you get your cake and you can eat it too. It's like, oh wow. Now, this would be a video topic. I get it. I mean, if you're a personal trainer and you actually know how to, someone can pull this stuff off, great. Just so you can get the point of the framework of how to use the words, that's really what we're talking about here. But just tweak it so it makes sense using these concepts. So whatever that would be with whatever it is you're talking about, if you're a personal trainer, you know, a yoga class, strength training, amino acids, burning fat, stretching, whatever the case may be, it's kind of like, what does your person want to accomplish? I would imagine your average personal trainer, a lot of people come to you and say, I want to lose weight. All right, that's probably well established. But there's a couple of things that often come along with that. So I'm sure I'm probably preaching to the choir here if you're a personal trainer watching this, where it's like, yeah, that's great that you've got someone that wants to lose weight. Most people, a lot of people like to lose weight. But then it's like, well, I want to lose weight, but I still want to eat the bacon. It's kind of like, well, what is that thing where the person could have their cake and eat it too, whatever that would look like, and it would still accomplish that goal and solve that problem for that person. They get their cake and eat it too. They say, how to lose weight, you can still eat bacon. How to lose weight, and you're like, oh, I got to go to the gym. All right. So maybe that means, you know, doing an online program and just working out in your living room or something like that. So how to lose weight without having to go to the gym. So that's, in both scenarios, they get what they want. The first one is kind of like, oh, cool, I get the best of both worlds. And it's like, I get what I want, and then I also get what I want. And then the second one is like, I get what I want, and then I don't have to do this painful thing. So that's where that comes in. Is the people are generally that they want to seek pleasure, and they're always trying to escape pain for the most part. That's typically what most people are trying to do. Is that it leans more towards escaping pain, but most people are really just trying to escape pain. So these two frameworks here are great, and you can just cut and paste whatever. Just think about and just brainstorm whatever you can plug in to these. You know, how can someone get what they want and still also have what they want? They don't have to sacrifice anything. And how could they get what they want and then they don't have to do this annoying thing over here that's painful? I mean, it's not oh my god, I broke my arm pain. It's just like, it's annoying. It requires motivation and effort and whatever the case may be. So that's a great formula if you want to just get started with coming up with hooks, headlines, topics for videos. This is the stuff. Now you're talking about delivering valuable content to people. Is really, it's informational, it's educational, and it's valuable. It really is. So this is the perspective that you want to come from when you're not making videos just for the sake of videos, where it's like, hey, I'm going to show you, let's take a tour of my studio. Yeah, I know that some people say they like to see, how the sausage is made behind the curtains, a day in a life, blah, blah, blah. But I would question, I don't really know how many people actually care. And thus, like, I don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh God, I gotta know what's going on behind the scenes of this business. I just have my own problems, and people want solutions, really. Or they want information, they want to be entertained or motivated. That's really, those are your three big dogs. Here's another example. This is an agent. This is Stanley, and he's an agent for my client that I work with now. And he was selling a restaurant, and he started off where at the beginning of the video we were making, and he started off, as most real estate agents do. The agents are notorious for this. They start off, they introduce themselves, they introduce their brokerage. I said, hang on, let's try this again, Stanley. So I asked Stanley this, I said, who is the ideal person that would buy this restaurant? He said, it's someone that wants to have their own business. They're tired of having a boss, and they want to be in business for themselves. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I said, at the beginning of this video, Stanley, come out and say, like, don't introduce yourself. We're going to do all that later. Just say, tired of working for other people? That's a hook. And typically, when you do that at the beginning, ones that are formatted in really like a negative question, something like that is effective for hooking people. So questions with a negative context work well. Tired of working for other people. I put the text up on the screen for him as well. And now if someone is watching that video and they're in that scenario, that is a typical day. All right, you remember this one? We'll go back to it. All right, number 3, average day. What's the average day of the person that you do business with? What is the average day? Are they tired of working for other people? Do they get up 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they're like, oh God, I gotta go listen to this boss that I hate. He's gonna micromanage me and tell me all kinds of stuff, and I'm working for the man. You know, this is not my dream right now. I was like, geez, I wish I could just have like my own little restaurant. I know how to cook burgers and stuff. I was just like, I'm just tired of working for other people. So that's where we started. And then moving forward, he just gave us a tour and showed us around the restaurant. So think along this line here, where it's the hook is really, if you can put the majority of your thought and energy into this beginning part, now you've bought a few seconds here. So now you've got the person actually watching your video because you've hooked them. All right. So moving forward, start to think about the pains, the frustrations, the stress. What is your audience trying to escape from, and what pleasure are they seeking? The next part of this framework, that's the E component, that the first E in the IEEO framework. Now that you've got them, you've got their attention, you've hooked them. All right. So you've probably bought 3 to 5 seconds, I would guess, where you've got someone's attention. Now the clock is ticking, where it's like, okay, yes, I'm tired of working for other people. You got me. So now Stanley engaged the viewer by say, come on in, I'm going to show you the restaurant. So if it's actually someone and it's relevant to them, where they are actually considering investing in a business of some type, or they would like to have their own restaurant, that would be engaging for someone. That would make sense. They would actually watch it because they want to see the inside of it. They want to see the booths, the countertops. They want to see if there's actually people in there eating. They want to get a little bit more behind the scenes. So something like that definitely makes sense. So, and there's different ways you can engage people when you're creating a video. It doesn't always have to be, come on, let me show you how the sausage is made. It could just be anything along the lines of, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do X, Y, and Z. Discover the best way to do this. Learn my system step by step. Whatever. You just have to invite them in a little bit more. And when you use words like discover how, in this video I'm going to show you, learn this. If you watch this video till the end, I'm going to make a special offer to you. You can get a coupon, a discount code, whatever. So you have to give people some type of juicy stimulation where they will keep going, because that's the conversation that's going on in people's minds is, okay, well, you've got someone, so why would I actually invest the next 57 seconds of my life actually watching the rest of this thing? Because if someone gets bored, they're just on to the next thing. So there has to be an incentive for someone to invest the next crucial 30 seconds to a minute of their life into your video. But someone could stick around and say, okay, so this person's going to give me a step-by-step. All right, maybe I'll watch and take notes. or it has to be something entertaining or motivating or inspiring, or in this case here, where if you're talking step by step, something educational. Now, you could go this route, and one of the best and most educational promotional videos for business that I've seen was for this dentist office, and it's the Whitensville Family Dentist office. And you can just look this up on YouTube, those keywords right there. That's the actual title in the video. 159,000 views. Now that's nothing to sneeze at, right? So that could potentially yield, I mean, a lot of patients. I mean, God, if 100,000 or even 50,000 people, I mean, 1,000, a fraction of that, a fraction of the people that actually watch this video, if they showed up at this dentist office, they'd be turning people away. They'd be like, call us back next year. They'd be flooded with patients. So in this, I highly recommend that you go check it out. You'll see that there's a lot of happy, smiley people, friendly faces, extroverted people that generally, they don't mind hamming it up a little bit on camera. Not everyone is like these people, and thus the title of today's presentation. A lot of people have fears about being on camera, anxieties, etc. So just start to think, even if you have maybe you paint houses, or you're a landscaper, or an HVAC company, or plumbing, what have you, dentistry, chiropractic. It's not exactly, you're not exactly watching, a Super Bowl halftime show here, but things along these lines where you've got a little song and dance. And if you go check out this video, really all they did, they just had some confetti. They got the secretary holding up signs. There's a little song playing. They're kind of like, hey, we do hygiene, and come check out the office tour. It's entertaining. It really is. So entertainment, if you can think of how to set it up appropriately, that it can be very effective, as this is probably, like I said, one of the best examples that I've seen. And what they did totally contradicts everything I just got done saying, and the exact opposite of what you should do, because they didn't use any hook at all. Really, if you go and see what the secretary says at the beginning, it's very centered towards them, and they didn't use any type of a question with a negative context or anything like that. They said, hey, tired of waking up with your teeth hurting you in the middle of the night, or they didn't say anything like that. It's just like, hey, welcome to the office. Should we schedule an appointment or whatever? But they lured you in with the choreography of the whole thing, and I thought it was very well done, because they're actually hooking you in, because you're curious about what's going to happen next every couple of seconds, because they do a little different little thing. The music starts playing, and then somebody pops out with a sign, confetti goes up. So that video is very engaging. Yeah, I definitely recommend you check that out. And if you can start to emulate some of their little tricks that they used and do something along the lines for your business, I think that people would watch it, and it would definitely get some attention. So whoever the movers and shakers are, if you've got any people that are on your team, any staff members, anyone that's extroverted and you think that might make a good actor in some way, shape, or form, if you script something out like what these people did, I think it's great content for a video. It really is. And when you have engaging videos, people talk about it, they share it on social media. And if you go to YouTube and check out the video that this dentist office did, there's a comment underneath the video that says, I come to this place just because they made this. So these videos are very effective. Next part, the second E, educate. And that's a lot of what we talked about earlier. You're providing information, and you can take your hook and just unpack it. So whatever you came up with your headline, so if it's anything that you are delivering to benefit your audience, just break it down and make those insights, the step-by-step, make it more actionable. An educational story, anything, just whatever the person can take, if that's the approach that you're going with. If it's, here's the top 3 ways to build muscle, or whatever it is. So whatever your promise that you're making to the viewer, say, hey, you watch this video, I'm going to show you how to do X, Y, and Z. Step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this. So don't overthink it, just deliver the value to the person. Now, this is my client here, she's a real estate broker, and we went out one day and we're just on a sidewalk, and I'm like, hey, I think it'd be pretty cool. It's a nice day out today. Maybe you could do a video about, it's like a state of the nation, like like the president addressing the nation about, hey, here's the current state of affairs with multifamily investing. So she did a market update. She's like, this is what's going on right now in this area. And what this does is this positions you as an expert. So you're like, wow, this lady, knows what's going on. She's an expert. And when you go on camera like this and you're talking and doing presentations, that's the angle here, is people will want to call her as opposed to someone else, because people will be like, wow, she must be like the best around because she's got her finger on the pulse of the multifamily market. All right. As opposed to someone who just has like an ad in the paper, or they're blended in to a sea of 100 other real estate agents. I used to have a license, that's why I know the game for the most part. But when you're unfortunately by default blended into the sea of sameness, especially with realtors, a lot of times they can get commoditized. And I think maybe personal trainers, many different industry providers be like, oh God, here's another landscaper. It's like they think all you do is unlock the door and just put a sign on the yard. Well, here's another realtor. Or anything along those lines. People will they'll unfortunately commoditize you. So when you do stuff like this, it stands out. And this is great. She gave her update on kind of like what's going on. She gave some helpful advice for people that are trying to sell an apartment building. Here's where we're at this point in time. So if you can do current state of affairs videos for your industry, those are great. She also does something called Real Estate Storytime. These people sitting next to her are current agents or people that used to be an agent on her team. And the premise of this one is she's just telling a story about a couple of clients that she worked with and a transaction and pitfalls to avoid and it's wrapped in a story. So it's kind of like, hey, if you find yourself in this situation, I just experienced this. If you find yourself that you're about to go down this path, watch out for A, B, and C because X, Y, and Z might happen. So if you can tell stories, if you have different things, again, it's like the day in the life of your customers, clients, or customers and clients that you haven't met yet, your audience, your target market, people out there that you serve, if you can start to tell educational stories. Storytelling is very engaging and very educational all by itself. People love stories. Stories are very interesting, and if you can make them beneficial to your audience, they're very effective. A lot of people say just give value. Okay, great. What the heck does just give value, like, what does that even mean? So the best part of actually giving value that I've seen is courtesy of the Harvard Business Review, and it's called the Elements of Value Pyramid. Now you can Google this and find this if you want to sink your teeth into it a little bit more. I don't want to go through all these different variables of value, but it's really just what for the purposes of me showing this to you here now in this presentation, just so you can get a high-level view of what consumers perceive to be valuable, because that's kind of a mysterious term that a lot of people are kicking around nowadays. Just give value, but I don't really see too many people, if any, really dissect what that means. So I recommend you definitely check this out. And really quick, just to kind of elaborate a little bit on this. Again, I don't want to go through all this stuff because this will be here all day talking about it, but I think that you'll probably start to get it where, let's say you have a clothing store, right? So in that first one, apparel, retail, they focus on things like, wide variety, quality of the clothing, the design, the aesthetics, different things. And if you look at the words that are on there, saves time. Some of these other categories, like the insurance, audio insurance, quality coverage in the policies, decrease in anxiety, easy access, and all these other ones like food and beverages, variety. You can see that they are all centered around benefits for the consumer. So none of this stuff, if you notice, is like, oh God, I hope that people like how I look on camera, or nothing. There's no I statements in any of this. Like this whole pyramid, quality, avoiding hassles, reducing anxiety, fun, entertainment, reducing cost, saves time, therapeutic value, reduces effort, provides access, avoids hassles. So all these different things, it's all about what are the benefits, what are the trials and tribulations of your people, your audience, your tribe, the people that you serve, what are they going through, and how does what you provide to them fit into these different scenarios. So check out that pyramid. Once again, it's from the Harvard Business Review, and if you just Google the elements of value pyramid, you can start to check out these different categories and think along these lines when you're making videos. Is what buttons are you trying to push? A lot of times it's kind of like saving people money, saving people time, making their life easier, reducing their stress, their anxiety, helping them get organized, making them feel better. I mean, one of these is nostalgia, I think, maybe. So it's something that can kind of bring them back, so it makes people feel good, so they can remember the good old days. So there's an art and a science to all of this. There really is. Now the last one in this framework, the O, is offer. So when you're making a video, you don't want to just leave people hanging at the end, right? So it's all premeditated, where you come in with the hook, you have to engage them, you're going to teach them something, motivate them, entertain them, inspire them, whatever. And then at the end, it's like, okay, great video, what do I do now? So a lot of times, you'll hear kind of like, follow me for more, or comment, subscribe to my channel, like this. And I don't know if there's really any right or wrong answer for the most part. I mean, you could probably just test all different offers at the end. So if you just want to play with different actions, it's called call to action is really what it is. So different things that you say at the end. It could be, call me, text me, like this, subscribe, comment, come down for a free consultation. Whatever is relevant for what you do, you can test different things and just whatever makes sense, and be like, wow, well, if I tell people to call me, my phone rings, but if I tell them to email me, people don't do that. Or it could be the other way around. Maybe people prefer texting you as opposed to emailing, and then just whatever it makes sense. Just try different things, different offers, different attractive little carrots, like at the end of the stick. Say it could be, come down for a free consultation, or download this PDF, or enter your email address here, and then I'll send you the slides to this presentation. Just different things. You just kind of have to play around with it and see what pulls for you. A couple of examples for a call to action. Let's say you're a real estate agent. Call or text me for a free estimate of what your home is worth. Maybe you're a personal trainer and you're like, hey, we have a challenge coming up. It's called 60 Days of Fitness. enter your email address on the form that's linked below this video and sign up for it. You know, we're only taking 50 people. We already have 37 signed up. It's going to go next Saturday. People are, you know, signing up like hotcakes. So if you want to get in, you know, you should, you know, sign up now, or else you have to wait till next month, or just add a little scarcity in there. So whatever would be appropriate for what you do, whatever makes sense. Things along that nature, as long, because you can't just abruptly turn the video off and just be like, oh, okay, have a nice day. You could, but it's probably not going to serve you as well, unless you can have some way to kind of like wrap it all up and tie it up nicely at the end with a little bow of some type of like a thing that basically you want your person watching the video, like, what do you want them to do? So you now have some tools, you've got some things that you can execute when you're making short form videos. It's valuable stuff. So when you're promoting your product or service, now using this framework, you're delivering value, and the beauty is really you're doing so without any fluff. So you're not rambling, you've got your hook, you're going to engage them, you're going to educate them, and then you're going to have something that you would like them to do afterwards. So you know, when you hop on camera, you've got it all mapped out ahead of time, where you're kind of like, you know what you're gonna say. It's gonna be short, sweet. You're gonna get right to the point. It's gonna be a reel for Instagram or whatever, or a Facebook reel or YouTube video, and you've got your golden nugget of value that you know you want to deliver to your person based on the stuff that we talked about in this presentation. And you can say, here it is, and it's all, and you've thought it through, and that is really what I believe will help you overcome your fears, because we talked about mindset, about how it's really not about you, it's about the person that you're serving. And if you jump in, I love this quote, do one thing every day that scares you. So you've got this presentation, you're armed now with these different tools and tactics about how you can effectively deliver a video that serves your audience, and it's well thought out, and you can do this again and again. Just cut and paste different bits of content and information as you discover it. You know, if you had a notebook where every time a customer or a client comes to you and asks you a question, or there's like, it's almost never ending, all the videos that you can make and the information that I would imagine you get regularly from your customers and clients. And it's just, if you just kept track of it in a notebook or a spreadsheet or whatever works for you, just say, oh, I'm going to make a video about that. And it doesn't have to take up a lot of your time. A lot of this, you don't have to spend, you know, a Saturday afternoon just sitting there like, oh God, what am I going to make videos about? Oftentimes they'll just come to you on the fly. You can just make a little note in your phone or what have you, and block out a couple of hours, and then just bang out a bunch of videos. You can make a big long form piece of content and then chop it up into little pieces here or there. And as these different pieces of value start to take shape, sometimes you'll have a whole presentation, kind of like this one that I'm giving you here today. And sometimes you just have, you know, maybe like a onesie twosie. So you can play it by ear. I really don't think that there's any right or wrong answer. I think that half-ass is better than no ass. You know, if one video is all you can make, just make one video, because that's better than zero, right? So if you can do 2, fabulous. If you could do 25, all the more power to you. But just do one thing every day that scares you, because Eleanor Roosevelt said so. And if you feel like you still need help, I mean, clearly just now I had a little stutter. It's not that serious. People really don't care for the most part. As long as you're doing something and you know that you're serving and you're helping your audience, that can help you attract business to you. And again, my name is Chris Tracy. If you feel like you still need help, you can reach out to me. Here's my call to action for an example where I'm just looking for people to text me, call me, or send me an email. There you go. So that's my call to action at the end here. And yeah, I'm looking to take on more clients as we speak. So I hope this served you. These are the sources that I use for this presentation. Again, if you want any more information about different things that I mentioned. The mastermind that I go to is run by, he's the fourth one there, Mr. Smith, first name Tom, that courtesy of the Founders Mastermind Group, and a couple of different other programs I've participated in. There's the book, and then the before and after framework is courtesy of Digital Marketing for Dummies by Ryan Deiss and Russ Henneberry. So I recommend that you check out these different things, or if you want to just have a conversation, I'd enjoy that as well. So thanks for coming out, and I'll see you in the next presentation. Take care. Go make some videos.